So to pipe your choux buns, we're going to start off with a nice large tray with some baking paper. And I'm again using these silicone mats. This one from Silcomart actually has the markings of where to pipe, which is really helpful. So I'm just going to pop that over the top of my baking paper here and give this a little bit of a spray with some oil just to make sure that our choux pastry is not going to stick. Now what I'm going to do is actually measure my choux buns as I pipe, and I find that this is a good way to get in the hang of piping the same quantity for every choux bun, so we're going to have uniformity. So just placing your digital scale underneath, we're going to tear that off. Now I've put my choux pastry, which I prepared earlier, and you can go ahead and watch the video on how to make your vegan choux pastry. And I've just attached an 18mm round tip nozzle for this size choux bun. And we're going to be piping in 25 grams for the large ones. And we want to start at a 90-degree angle and just press from a little bit of a height as well. And we're looking to get about 25 grams. So in the end, it should look kind of like a half sphere sort of thing. So once you have all your buns piped out, I like to give them a tap underneath just to bring any air bubbles to the surface. Now if you've got any tails on the top, you can just grab yourself some water and your fingertip and just press those down so they are nice and smooth. Now to help with an even rise, you can do this step as well, which is getting a fork and making some markings across your choux buns. So 1, 2, and then across and across. And this is just going to help create more surface area, so you're going to get less cracks. And you just want to do this very, very lightly. So now you can add your craquelin. So I'm going to grab my craquelin out of the freezer. You want to do that immediately. And I always like to peel off that top layer and then just flip it over so it will release more easily, and just keep it on that tray which is frozen. And when you're using the cutter, you want something that's maybe just like a little bit slightly bigger than your choux bun. And then just place that on top of your choux bun. And I'm just pressing on it very lightly. We don't want to squish the buns down. And if your craquelin starts to get quite soft, especially if you're working with it in the summer, just pop it straight back into the freezer and leave it there for about 15 minutes, and then you can start this process again. And you can reuse your craquelin dough as well. So you can just gather it back together, roll it back out. So you will notice that I have actually just left one naked one there, and that one is going to help us understand when our choux buns are ready during the baking process. So because we have the craquelin on top, we can't see the colorization, but it's always a good idea just to have one without the craquelin on top, so you can keep an eye on your choux buns as they bake. So let's get these ready for the oven. So our oven is preheated and ready to load. I've got it preheated at 135 degrees, so let's get these guys in. So as you can see, we have our pastries in the oven now, and I've set my timer for 40 minutes. So that's going to be our first stage of baking. And at this stage, all we're looking to do is bake our choux pastry to really use that steam power to push a nice big hole and make it hollow in the center. So we're going to keep an eye on these. I like to check it every about 5 to 10 minutes just to see how they're going. Essentially within the first 40 minutes, we just want to bake them and we don't want to add too much color. We just want them to be cooked. We want to do this very, very slowly because it's kind of a race against the clock. We want to push as much of a hollow center into our choux buns before our egg replacer sets. So as soon as our egg replacer sets, that's when you might run into problems where it's creating cracks and you won't be able to get any more leavening power. So we're going to put this on for 40 minutes and I'm going to check back in 5 to keep an eye. So I've been keeping an eye on my choux buns and my Paris breast. It's been 10 minutes so far. I have seen some puff happening, but still no colorization, which is perfect. So at this stage, we're going to continue baking. I'm going to check it again at the 5-minute mark. We want to ensure that we're really not getting any colorization within the first 15 minutes. So if I do notice that it's starting to brown, I will turn the temperature on my oven down 5 degrees. But for now, everything's looking good. I'm going to continue baking and yeah, check on these again in about 5 minutes. So it's been another 5 minutes and everything is looking good. I can see lots of puff happening on both our Paris breast and the choux buns. They're looking good. So I'm going to leave these now for 10 minutes. I'm happy with the temperature that my oven is at. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it for another 10, check in. If it's okay, then I'll continue baking for the full 40 minutes and then evaluate after that. So I still have about 10 minutes left on my clock, but I'm really happy with how our buns are baking up. And I can see they've just started to develop some color. It's very, very pale at this stage, which is perfect. So what we're basically looking for by the end of around the 40 to 45 minute mark is for our choux buns to have a nice pale honey sort of color. So you know, we want them to be baked, but not a deep golden just yet. We just want kind of like a nice honey, pale brown sort of color. So we're going to continue baking this for another 10 minutes at the same temperature and check at that stage. So our 40 minutes are up. So now at this stage, we want to make sure that our buns have a nice golden honey color to them. And we're going to carefully open our door just a crack and release that steam just for about 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. Wait until that steam gets out. All right, now I'm going to shut the door. Get some more time on, and we're going to increase our temperature to 145 degrees Celsius. I'm going to put 40 minutes on the clock. We probably won't need that full amount of time. We're going to keep an eye on it. Fan if you have it, and if you do have a vent option on your oven, you want to open your vent as well. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on these guys and get some nice colorization on them. So we're getting some good colorization now. It's been about 15 minutes, so I want to just rotate the trays just to make sure that we are getting nice even colouring. We have our choux buns. We had the little one that we made that didn't have our craquelin on top that you can see. And then we have all of our craquelin choux buns. So just pop them on a cooling rack to cool down completely before you fill them. So I'm just going to put these guys on some cooling racks, and I like to just put them straight onto the cooling racks. My trays are actually still quite warm, but I find it helps with just drying them out as well, just a little more. So I like to just put them on the cooling rack and then on top of my warm tray so we can cool them slowly.